First, congratulations, Stevie Johnson, on bronze medal. That's pretty cool for Peter Smith and the tennis crew here to have an Olympian. Great job by those guys. Had a couple guys out today. We got a little bit of a stomach bug going around, so Frank Martin and E.J. Price sat out today with a stomach bug. And Biggie had death in the family. Our condolences to him as he was attending a funeral today. Adam, being the professional that he is, reminded me of the grade situation and giving you the information on that. I did have a chance to speak with Magdi. We are under the anticipation that everybody is going to be eligible. That the grades are final as of next Wednesday, but with the information that we've got, it looks like everybody's going to be eligible. I'll update you again next Wednesday when they are final, but we're confident that everybody's going to be eligible. That's a great credit to Magdi and his crew. Next, in continuing to learn situational football, you saw today we worked our backed up situations with crowd noise, and to be able to bring the speakers out here, both crowd noise, a little music, and to try to see where we are functionality wise. Didn't think it was very good, a little bit sloppy, and need to do it again, to be honest with you. It's something that we know that when you're playing in the Pac-12 and you're playing in an elite conference and playing some elite non-conference games, it's going to get loud, and we need that again. So it will be echoed again somewhere throughout camp. Got a couple guys back, which was nice. Chris Hawkins to be out and get some teamwork, and some teamwork was good. Matt Lopes coming back and getting some teamwork was really good. Jalen Green having the opportunity to get some teamwork now. So we got a couple hamstrings back. We went ahead and sat Chad down. I think it'll be a couple more days before we even try again to try to get that plantar fasciitis down. Plattenberg is still with concussion. Today, Juju just pulled him with that sore toe / ankle, pulled him just to be safe. Jack had a little bit of a quad, and with that, and Yofi had a pulled ham, as you saw on the sideline. With that, I'll answer any questions that you got.
Coach, I wondered.
Who got the tip on that interception? Did you see
I
that?
believe it was Connor.
Yeah,
I believe it was
people
Connor.
say
He's a
that.
big, long joker. You can tell. KU's been doing a great job working that drill. It's something that we actually pointed out in the team meeting last night of how that drill work has really been paid off. If you remember, down in our red zone period, Malik Dorton had a knockdown pass where their sets Darius Rogers wide open for a touchdown. Malik saves the day. So that technique and fundamental has now caused 2 huge plays, and it's a quarterback's worst nightmare, to be honest with you, is when you see a guy open and then all of a sudden you think that throwing lane's there and a defensive lineman gets his hands up. It's a credit to our defense, and you tell your quarterback, hey, you may have to step over, may have to step up to find that throwing lane, especially when you got a Connor Murphy that's 6'6" sitting right in your face.
Is your front seven coming together maybe quicker than you thought it would?
I think so. A lot of it has to do with I really appreciate how Clancy is mixing in our nickel package and what that does for us to bring another DB on to make those 2 outside linebackers be great defensive ends. It helps us, and they're getting better. I can't say enough for the addition of Stevie, Josh, Connor Murphy, Khalil coming over now doing some nice things, providing us depth. It just looks like a different group, depth-wise and maturity-wise. They've got some good coaches on defense, and they're doing a nice job of it.
Can Connor get out onto the field now? Has he come to a place quicker than
I
maybe?
think he's got a ways to go. But gosh dang, he's learning fast. You saw yesterday one-on-one pass rush. I don't see Zach Banner get beat very often, and had a nice move against him that led to a sack and one-on-one pass rush, and then causes a big play today. So it's neat to see that big a body step up in that hurry, and we'll see how it progresses. But he's doing some really good things right now, Dan.
Coach, I've had a chance to watch Alabama on film very much, and what might keep you up at night about their offense and their defense, special teams?
A lot does. We put a lot of prior game work in the month of May and June prior to our vacation for game planning purposes. So this part of this part of training camp we can worry about us. Now 2 weeks from game day, that game plan that we put together in May and June, we'll put in with our football team. Would I be lying to you if I said at midnight I'm not watching Alabama film? Yes, I would be lying. I have a tendency to take a peek late at night and try to get one or two more trinkets to be able to help our kids.
Is their passing game unique, or have you seen that from other teams and in the running game as well?
No, I tell you what really speaks volumes to me, which jumps off the tape, is how well they're coached. And when you're talking about Nick Saban on defense, it doesn't matter who the coordinator is. His defense has been the same, and he's done some great things with it. He's not only one of the better head coaches in our time, he's one of the best defensive coaches. And I've always said this, Coach Kiff is one of the more brilliant offensive-minded coaches that there are out there. He always has been, and it's one of his strengths. And what jumps off the tape to me is how well they're coached.
Coach, in your system, what does the quarterback have to do to win the position?
He has to move the ball. He has to produce. Put the ball in the end zone without making the critical error. When you look around at the personnel that we have right now, wide receivers, tight ends, running backs, a very experienced, mature offensive line, he just has to drive the car, and move the ball efficiently. Find the playmakers, get the ball in the end zone without making the critical decision, and that's what we'll see over the next 10 practices.
Clay, did you?
John Gruden say anything to you about your team out here today?
He was great. He's somebody that our defensive staff had an opportunity to go out and visit with this spring, and has been a great friend of Clancy for a long time. Raised one of my mentors in Johnny Morton, who was here, and he's one of the legends of the game. Gave me some great advice, the same advice my dad gave me at one point in time. Hey, just go be yourself. You get one time to do this, do what you believe in and be yourself. And it was just awesome to have. I mean, that's one of those guys as a young coach you've looked up to your whole life, and he's on the field. It's pretty cool.
Clay, did you recruit Cameron Smith? Were you involved with that?
At Granite Bay, I recruit Northern California, but to be honest with you, we team recruit, and that was very much a team recruit aspect. I thought Pete did a nice job while he was here with him. I've got the Northern California area at that time, so between the two of us, Cam, thank goodness he's here. Thank goodness he was a midterm graduate getting here quick.
What was he like then, and just the impact of him coming back from the beginning of this?
I tell you what, I was impressed with. He was as good a wrestler as he was a football player, and you can see some of that dynamic on the football field also. But he always was a kid that when you watch the high school tape, he was so instinctive. He was a little bit lighter then because of wrestling, and you knew he was going to balloon up, and now you see, he's a grown man. But I always felt, just watching the tape, watching him play live, he was one of the more instinctive football players that allowed him to play fast. His combine time may not be the fastest of all guys, but he truly plays fast because he diagnoses a play in such a hurry.
Are there, people have talked about, because of the way the game has gone, that inside linebackers aren't quite as prominent as they used to be? Is that the way you look at it? And as a guy like him, how does he compensate for all that?
Well, there's always going to be one guy in the box, even in spread offense. You have that one backer that's got to be able to, when double teams happen on three techniques, and knows is that he's got to be able to run the lanes and get the ball down in between the tackle box. And Cam's done a great job of that. Mike Hutchings is doing a great job of that. And then when you spread out, as you look at the guys that are as outside linebackers, some of them are nickels, some of them are more athletic linebackers. Usually your nickel is to the field, especially in the college game, because of how much grass there is out there. And the will linebacker is really trapped in that boundary where there's not as much space to fill.
Clay, one more.
Clay, you've had a couple guys put on 30, 40 pounds on the defensive line. What's the most difficult part for those guys to make an impact? It's almost like they got a new body.
Yeah, just they're young kids, and one, they're learning how to play with 20, 30 extra pounds, but two, the added strength is so important. When you talk about the difference between a freshman to a sophomore, that body changes. I always tell parents that it's night and day. Buy new clothes, because they're gonna have bigger waistlines. They're gonna be one size up. So it does, and it takes a little bit of time to adjust to that body. I remember Connor being one of them. Connor's at 250 when we signed him, and now he's at 265. So it does. Scott, you had a question.
Has OSA made any kind of a jump since the beginning of the camp until now?
Yeah, he's done a nice job. You know, he's in that two deep, and really you saw him doing with some ones today also. So, you know, I think with Osa, the talent is so much there. Really, what we're trying to get Osa to focus on is the assignment soundness of staying in his gap, and not he gets drawn a little bit to eye candy sometimes. You know, when there's emotion or things, but just the assignment, and that comes from maturity and reps, which he missed in the spring. But as far as God-given talent and ability, he definitely has it and can play at this level at a very high level. All right, guys. Thank you so
Thank you,
much.
Coach.
Appreciate it, guys.